This AI system automatically creates viral TikTok Shop UGC affiliate ads from one click. This is an example of what it can do. So this is a product right here, and all I've said was young blonde woman in her car promoting this glass bottle Coca-Cola drink, and I got a video like this, and it can do much more. But before I show you other examples and the actual example video, let's go over why this is important. Now, TikTok Shop Affiliate, if you don't know, is essentially a system where you can post a TikTok video like usual, but it will have a product link at the bottom where if someone buys a product from that link, you receive an affiliate commission. So people promote products on TikTok and then receive affiliate commissions through that. We can now do this with AI. This is one example of someone actually doing it with AI. So credit to Mohammed Kamara here as well. I am from Canada. I'm not from US or any of the eligible countries, so I can't actually access the affiliate center. But if we look at this AI page that he's showing right here, the average commission rate of this page is 12.5%. And the sales right here, $212,000. We play this video from, as you can see, August 11th to September 10th. So over $200,000 in sales in 30 days. And at a 12.5 commission rate on average, that's what, about 25K profit in a month for this guy. So if we have a look at the page here, this is from this page here called Lucky Deals. Now let's have a look. I have it pulled up here. As you can see, these are all AI videos. It's an AI girl, and it's just talking about specific kinds of products. And if we click here, as you can see, 3 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 17 hours ago, 21 hours ago, 22 hours ago, 23. So we'll get into the price of each video, but it's only about $1 with the system from the n8n that I've built. So you can think if you're posting 7 or 8 per day because it's so cheap, you can see how you can really start to scale this. And this person also has some very popular videos as well, like this one, 200,000 views as well. Now, before we get into what my system has made, let's watch another example that got a lot more engagement. As you can see, over 600,000 likes. And this is because this video was more entertainment based. It was actually a funny video, but he still had the promotional product in there. So let's watch that.
I've been out here for 37 hours straight. I got blisters on my blisters. And my wife got the nerve to text me, don't forget to pick up milk. I am the cow. But this little bastard right here, this fan hat, this fucking hero right here, he's the reason I haven't filed for divorce. So if you have a amazing, hard-working father busting ass like I am here, then these hats are on sale now in the TikTok shop. Get it now.
So as you can see, that was 3 AI videos meshed together. Now, let's have a look at some of the videos that my system has built. So it runs through Telegram. So for this example, I said, young blonde woman in her car promoting this glass Coca-Cola drink, and then I sent an image of a Coca-Cola bottle, and this is what we got.
Okay, so I just grabbed this from the store, and I'm honestly obsessed. Like, why does glass bottle Coke just hit different? Like, seriously, the glass bottle makes it taste so much more crisp and refreshing than the plastic ones. Trust me on this one, you need to try the glass bottle version. You can click the link below to get some for yourself.
There you go, right? I have another example here. So this one includes a character and a product in the same image. I can show you how to actually make that image so that they're both in there as well. And then it says Mario promoting the product in his Mushroom Kingdom. He says, this is my new favorite gum. So let's watch this example.
Hey there! You know what I found in the Mushroom Kingdom today? Something that's gonna blow your mind. This is my new favorite gum. The cool mint flavor keeps me fresh during all my adventures. It's sugar-free too. Trust me, this stuff is amazing! And you can click the link below to get some for yourself.
So as you can see, it also allows for your own creative type of videos that can actually go viral because they provide an entertainment value, right? And it's not just like an ad. I have one more example I'll show you right here. This one was with just a product, and I said a young, beautiful woman in her car promoting these spicy Takis. Now, I didn't have the send back video feature added yet, but we can watch it right here.
Okay, so I'm literally obsessed with these right now. Like, I keep a bag in my car at all times. These Takis Fuego are seriously addictive. The chile and lime combo hits different, and they're so crunchy and spicy. Trust me, once you try these, you'll understand the hype. You can click the link below to get some for yourself. Okay, so I'm literally...
So my system kind of combines the best of both worlds into those sort of videos. And of course, as you saw in the Mario example, I said, this is my new favorite gum for him to say. And then he said it in the video. So you can choose what's said in the videos. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can build this AI system inside of n8n so that you can set this up for yourself to start getting your own TikTok UGC ads. Now, really quickly, before I get into the build guide inside of n8n, the cost for one of those videos is only 90 cents for the end video. It's 3 VO3 AI videos meshed into one, 90 cents. If you count the other very low cost APIs, it comes out to about $1 for one video. On top of that, of course, there is n8n. This is a software to essentially connect AI tools and different softwares together. If you've never used it before, there is a link in the description, and I also have a beginner guide on my channel if you want to get familiar with it. But my goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to build in this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into building this system. Alrighty, so once you are in your new n8n workflow, I am going to download this so that we can follow along from my school community here. Then I am going to import that. And this way we can follow along in sections. So the first section right here is this blue section. So this is essentially telling the entire system what kind of video we actually want to make. So how it works is we get the video idea, it creates an image, and then it creates 3 videos where the first frame of each video is the same image so that it's consistent across all of them. So what we're doing here is we're basically building the way for it to actually understand what we're saying and use it effectively for prompts for the image generation and prompts for the video generation. So step 1, I'm going to disable my Telegram trigger. In the top right, since yours is going to be blank, just click here, click plus, and then search Telegram. I'm going to click Telegram, scroll all the way down, click here on triggers, and then we're going to click on message. Now we need to create a Telegram bot. So you're going to need the Telegram desktop app. Right? So once you are on the Telegram desktop app, you can search in the search bar in the top left. Search for Botfather, Botfather, okay? Once you are on here, you're going to want to type /start. This is going to give you a big list of commands. Click on new bot, name your bot. All right, I've already done this. So you're going to want to name your bot. As you can see, I just named mine Botster. Then you need a username. So the end of the username has to be the word bot and also has to be unique. Once you've done that, you can click right here to actually access your bot. But before you access it, we need to use the API key right here. Okay? So once you've gone through all that, it's just going to ask you, all right, make your name. The name can be anything. And then make your username. So the username has to be different. So just follow along with what it's asking. And then once you've successfully done it, it's going to give you this done message. So from this done message, click on this right here to copy your API key. Now what you're going to do with that in your Telegram trigger is come to credential to connect with, click here, create new credential, access token, Control V, and then hit save. All right. I'm going to close it because I've already done that. But as you can see, Telegram account 7, I'm all hooked up and ready to go. Now we can actually test that out. So let's hit execute step and come into Telegram and then click on right here. So this is your username. You can also search on Telegram for the username you used. And then you can just click right here. And now you can start to message your bot. So you'll have to click start at the bottom, but I'll just type it again, /start. And the message has come through into n8n. Next, we need a edit fields node so that we can use the bot API key later in the workflow in the next node. So we're going to click plus here and then data transformation, edit fields. We're going to click here and then I'm going to come back here. So as you can see, we have bot ID and then we have our bot ID key. So we're going to click on this. We're going to search bot ID or type bot ID. And for the value, if you remember, we go back to botfather. We are using this API key right here. So we're going to paste that right in there. Okay, and then everything is done for that. And we can actually execute that step. Okay. Now we're actually going to need an HTTP request where we are going to actually use that bot ID. I'm actually going to name this bot ID 1. Okay. Now click plus right here and search HTTP so we can get an HTTP request. All right. So we're going to name this image path. The names don't really matter. They just kind of help to know what's what. So if we look at our HTTP request right here, what we're doing is we're essentially going to do this twice, once in this node and the next node. This one is important because we need the file ID of the image that we're sending through. So the way the Telegram API works is once you send the file to the Telegram bot, all it has is a string of letters and numbers. I'll actually show you in a second, but we need to use this so that we can turn it into a name. So like image71.jpg. I'll show you what I mean. So in order to understand what's actually going to happen, we need to send a file to Telegram so that we can use that data in the workflow. So what we're going to do is we are going to use Canva because all of the images that you send have to be in the 9:16 portrait format, at least for the best results. If you use a different kind of image, it's going to be kind of like compressed in, okay? So right now we're going to go to Canva. Now I'm here on canva.com. It's completely free. If you've never heard of Canva, it's basically just like an image editor. So what I'm going to do is once you're signed in, I'm just going to click on create. I'm going to come down to social media and I'm going to click on Instagram story because it is the right resolution. I'm going to click on that. There you go. As you can see, now I believe in my library here, I already have an image. Yeah. So you can just drag in your image from your computer. I already have an image here. Just put it there. You can have your character as well. So if you have a character, you're going to want to put like your product down here and your character up above. I found characters with no background actually works better, but anything will work, right? Because if there's a background of the character, it likes to use those details in the final image, in the final video, sorry. So if that is something you'd want, then you can do that too. So we're just going to use, for this example, just a product. So we're going to use Talkies. I'm going to make it nice and big so it has lots of detail. And then we're going to click share and then download. Okay, so I actually already have this, so I don't need to do that. But this is how you can get your actual image. And make sure when you click download, this is set to JPEG or PNG, and then you can download it. Now that we have our image, we are back inside of n8n, and we are going to actually open up Telegram. I'm going to open Telegram. We're going to go back to our bot that we made, and we're just going to drag in our 9:16 image. So I'm going to drag this in, and I'm going to say, and again, this will work on your phone too. Like once the whole workflow is set up, you can do this straight from your phone, which is pretty awesome. So I'm going to say the same thing I showed in the example. I'm just going to say make, I'll say a young, beautiful woman in her car promoting the Takis. And that's it. A young, beautiful woman in her car promoting the Takis. Now I am going to send that. Okay, so it's just loading. There we go. It is sent through. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to minimize all that, and I'm going to actually execute this step again. Okay, so if we open this up, as you can see here, now we have this file ID that I was talking about earlier. So we need to use that. So then we'll execute this one as well. This is the bot ID that we set up. Now this is the empty HTTP request. So we need to make this look like this one up above right here. So I'm going to open this up. Now here is what you want to do. Okay. I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to delete this. So you can type this manually, but it'll be easier if you go on ChatGPT, take a screenshot, and say, give me this link. And that will actually give you the link in text that you can copy. Okay. So I'm going to copy this, Control C. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back into our HTTP request, paste that into the URL. We're now going to go to expression. We're going to open it up. And now that we have our bot ID, we're going to drag this in, and we're going to keep note of that little line. It needs to be right after bot. Okay. We're going to drag it and drop it right there. So on the right, you can see bot and then our full ID. Then we need one more thing. So if we go to the Telegram trigger, you can scroll down, and because we've sent through the file now, scroll down, right? Once you've opened it up, scroll down. We have the photo that's sent through, file_ID. We're going to take that, drag that in, and put it directly after at the end of the link, like that. All right. There we go. Now when we execute this step, just click this little orange right here. As you can see, we have this file path, and this is what we need to actually bring the image inside of n8n, which we will use for the next node, which will analyze the image. We're going to add another node. Click here, search OpenAI, click on OpenAI, and we want to look for analyze image. So we're going to click on that, analyze image. Now, we have to connect our credential. If you don't know how to do this, the beginner guide on my channel, it's one of my first videos. It will help you to understand how to connect simple LLMs like that. Essentially, all you do is you click create new credential, and then you just need your API key. So there will be a link to the OpenAI API in the description. But basically, you just add some credit to the billing section, and then you can grab it from API keys after you create your key. You paste it in there, hit save, and you are authenticated. So again, beginner guide if you need more help with that. So for the model, we're going to use ChatGPT 4.0 latest. Now, we need to have the URL so that the image can actually be given to OpenAI to analyze. So I'm going to come back to analyze image from earlier, and I'm going to open this up. So again, I'm going to delete these. Now, copy this link from asking ChatGPT to give it to you from a screenshot, or you can just type it out. All right, this is the link you need. I'm going to copy that. We're going to come into our node here and switch this to an expression, and we're going to paste that in. Now we have to open it up, and after bot, again, like earlier, we go to bot ID. We need to drag that right in there after bot. And then at the end, now we're going to use this new file path that we got from the HTTP request earlier. So we're going to drag in file path after that slash. Okay. Now this link will give OpenAI access to the image that we sent. That's essentially what's happening there. Now for the text input, we're going to use my prompt. So if we open this up, again, screenshot, ChatGPT, ask for the text, it will give you the text. I'm going to copy this. This is going to allow us, I'm going to paste it right here into the text input. As you can see, this is going to let it analyze if it's a product, character, or both, and then it will allow us to use that information later on in the workflow. So why don't we execute that by hitting that little play button right there. And if we open this up, as you can see, a purple bag of Taki snacks, and it describes the whole image. So that is the content idea section finished. Now we're going to move on to image creation. So I'm just going to drag this section down here. Going to bring down these two. All right. I know this looks really confusing. It's just because it's connected to the other agent as well. Don't worry, I will make sure it's all simple and makes sense. Don't worry about these other connections here. So what we need to do is I'm just going to clean these up so that they're closer together. I'm going to click plus, and we're going to go and click right here on AI and then go AI agent. Now we're going to switch this to define below to let us put our own prompt in there. And I'm just going to call this one, nope, open it up, call it image. Image prompt. Okay. Now, here is what we are going to do. Down here, we're going to add a system message. So this will allow us to essentially, this is something that it reads before it gives us our output. So it's kind of like a training. Now, in order for this to actually work, we need a chat model. So we can click here on this plus, and then I'm going to use Anthropic because I like Anthropic. I'm going to click right there, and then we're going to go right here, credential to connect with. Feel free to use OpenAI as well, if just for ease of use, because you've already authenticated it for the analyze image node, but I'm going to use Anthropic. So it's a very similar process. You can click here, create new credential, the API key. This is the Claude console right here. You can find a link to this in the description. Same thing. Once you're logged in, API keys down here on the left. API keys right here. You can click create key, and then it will give you your secret key. And then billing over here, you just have to make sure that you have some credit on there. Again, it's only like a few cents, not even, for each time that it runs through. So once you have your key from that, you can paste it in there and then hit save. So that is the chat model all hooked up and ready to go for that. Now I'm going to go to tool. This is really easy. We can just click here, search think, and I'm going to click on think. Now this just basically allows it to essentially have an output, and then instead of just being done, it looks at its output and then can modify it. That's what the think tool does. Okay? To basically improve it. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back into my image agent here, and I'm going to copy my prompt. So I'm going to open this up. Okay. I'm going to copy this. Now, really quickly, don't worry about copying it yet. I'm just going to paste it in here, expression, open this up, paste it in, and I'm going to delete these red parts because this will be dependent on your workflow and what you've named things if you've renamed them. So now what you can do is you can screenshot this again, ChatGPT, ask it for this text, and it will give you this text right here. So once you've pasted that in there from ChatGPT, user instructions. What we want to do is come to the Telegram trigger, open this up, and we are going to look for, let's just look for our message that we actually sent it. So as you can see at the bottom, caption, a young beautiful woman in her car promoting the talkies. That's what we want. We're going to drag that right below user instructions. And then on the right, you can see it come through there. Description of the reference image. I'm going to scroll up to the analyze image from right before, and we're going to drag that content in. So now we have a description of the reference image in there as well to help it when it's creating the image prompt, because that's what it's going to be doing. Now we're not quite finished yet. We need the system message. So I'm going to come back into my image agent here, open this up. Again, screenshot will be really helpful here for ChatGPT. Screenshot, put it into ChatGPT. Once you've got that, I'll scroll down to the second part there. All right. I'm going to copy that. Come back to the image prompt expression and paste it in there in the system message. This is going to make sure that our image prompt that we're giving to the image generator, which again, the images will be used as the first frame of all the videos so that they are consistent. It ensures that the images that we're getting are high quality and they make sense for the kind of videos that we're actually making here. All right, so it's just like UGC stuff. It makes sure that the car type of images look good, and it just makes sure that the prompts are good, essentially, right? So now that we have that, it looks like everything. We can actually hit plus right here. To get our image prompt. As you can see, it's using the think tool. And let's see what we got. We got a young, beautiful, realistic woman sitting in her car holding a purple bag of Takis Fuego, right? iPhone camera quality to make it look kind of realistic. Everyday UGC content feel. And there you go. Now we need to actually use that image prompt, pardon me, in the image generation. So move that over, and we're going to add another node. So we're going to add an HTTP request for the image generator. So I'm going to hit plus, HTTP request. We're going to call this create image 1. Okay. Now, in the description, you can find a link to FAL AI. What FAL AI is it's essentially a site where we can access a whole bunch of different AI services, and we can use their API all in one place. So once you're on FAL AI and you've made your account, before we get started with anything, we need to make sure that we can authenticate. So once you're logged in, come up here to account. Then we're going to click on API keys right here. And this is where you can get your keys. But first, we need to go to usage and billing. All right. So we're going to go to usage and billing. Click on credits on the left over here. And then you're going to need to add a little bit of credit. Per image, it's only 4 cents. So it's only 4 cents per image. Again, it comes out to about $1 per completed video. So you'll just have to add some credit here. Once you have that, API keys over here at the top. Add key, copy your key, bring that into n8n, and actually we are going to use that in 1 second. So just make sure you have your key, write it down somewhere, or keep it copied, because you can only copy it one time. So maybe write it in a notepad or something, because we're going to use that when we set up this node. Okay. So what we're actually going to do now is come to the search. We're going to search Nano. We're going to be using the new Nano Banana from Google, and click on Nano Banana Edit. We're going to click on that, and you can play around with it if you want here. As you can see, it's about 4 cents per image. We're going to come to API. Make sure you switch this to HTTP, okay, because we're using an HTTP request. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to queue. We're going to click on submit a request. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to copy right here from where it says curl down to this single quotation. So in between these two blue brackets, we're going to copy all of that information. So once that's all selected, it has to be just specifically that in between those two blue brackets. We're going to hit Control C under submit a request, come back into n8n, and we can go to import curl, paste that in there, and hit import. And that makes this all a lot easier. Now, as you can see for the authentication here, this is that FAL AI key. So I'm going to come back, right? You can come back up here, go to account, API keys, make sure you get your key from here. And then we're going to go back to n8n, and you can paste that right here. Make sure you delete all that key, space, and then you can paste your key in. And that will, once you've done that, that's all authenticated, right? Pasted right there. Now I'm going to turn this off because I have, if I go to generic, ignore what I'm doing right now, header auth, and then I click on FAL AI. This is essentially just like a saved version, right? So you can click create new credential, type in authorization, key, space, and then have it in there. But you can just use the original option by just pasting it in like I showed you. All right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to modify this JSON right here. What the JSON does is it basically tells it what kind of image we're trying to make. So it's going to be dynamic every time. So we're going to use the one I have here. I'm going to go back. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to copy this. ChatGPT screenshot, and then you can have this JSON as well, which is exactly like this. So once you've copied that, we're going to go back to create image, scroll down, change this to expression. Make sure you do that. Open it up. And then we're going to delete everything and paste that in there. Now the prompt should be green. If it's not, you can just delete this and then drag it in from the output over here. Now for the image URLs, what we're going to do is we need the same image URL from the analyze image node. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to come out of here. We're going to go back to analyze image. Because if you remember, this URL is access to the image. So we're just going to copy this. Control C. We're going to go back into create image. We're going to open up this expression. And right in between these quotes right here, I'm going to delete all this. You can see image URLs. We've deleted this. And now there's just these two quotes here. We're going to go Control V. And that is going to paste it in. So actually, as you can see, this is undefined here. We're going to delete this red section. We're going to delete that. And we're going to go back to the image path node here. So open this up, file path, drag that in right after this slash. And there you go. Now the reason it was red there and not before is because, okay, this is all good now. We go out of this. The reason it was red there and undefined is because the image path, which is where we're getting it from, is right before this node. But over here, it's all the way back here between these nodes. So what's happening is basically, as you can see here, this is essentially referencing that specific node. And that's why it was red, because this wasn't specified. So it was basically checking this one, which it's obviously not in there. Just a little note for how it's all working. So there you go. That's all good. Now what we can do is once you've added your credits and everything, we can actually hit execute step. There we go. So now it is in queue. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to go plus. I'm going to search wait. We're going to go wait. I set it to 30 seconds. If you want to be safe, set it to 60 seconds, right? It's going to be running in the background. I'll set it to 30. Call it wait 30. And I'm going to click run on that, and I'll be back in 30 seconds when it should be done. All right, so it's been 30 seconds. Now we can come back to Fal AI on Nano Banana. And if we click on requests right here, we can see there's our prompt coming through, and here is our image. So let's check out our picture. There we go. I think that looks pretty dang good. And again, it's going to be different every time because it's AI. So you can always just infinitely do it until you're happy with whatever final video you get when you're actually using it. But that's our image now. So now we need to actually use that image for all of our VO3 videos. So we're going to come back to n8n. We're going to hit plus. We're going to go HTTP. And we're going to hit HTTP request. And we're going to call this get image. I'm just going to call it get image 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to Fal AI yet again. We're going to come back to API. Again, we're on Nano Banana here. We're going to scroll down to get the result for Q. Under Q, get the result, get the result. Now this one we can actually just click over here and just click copy. That will give us the whole curl request. Then we can come back into n8n and we can paste that URL there. Now, oh, sorry, not URL, import curl. We're going to import the curl and hit import. Now for the URL, if we come to expression, click expression, open this up. And for request ID, we're going to delete this. And what we're going to do is come back over here to our wait node and request ID. We're going to drag that in. And that's going to tell it which image to actually retrieve. Now that our URL is set up, you can paste your API key from Fal AI right there. Again, right after key, space, paste your key in. You can get it from your past node back here where you already did it. I already have my authentication set up this way. So I'm going to do that. Either way works. And that's everything for that node. So now what we can do is hit execute step. And as you can see, here is the URL. And this is what we're going to be using later in the workflow for the actual image generation. So that is the image creation section complete. All right, so I'm going to move this up. And we are going to bring down the create videos part. So this is what we're working on now. Okie. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to add a video agent. So the reason we're doing that is because now we need video generator prompts for all 3 of the videos. So we're going to hit plus on our workflow here, and we're going to click on AI agent. I'm going to call this video prompter. Okay. Switch this to define below. And same thing, we're going to add a system message. All right, now we can leave everything in there for 1 second. We're going to come out of here. And you can kind of bring these over and drag the chat model plus. You can drag that to this model and the tool to this tool as well to kind of keep things simple. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come into my video agent here. I'm going to open this up. Again, don't copy this just yet. I'm just going to bring this over. For the prompt, expression, open it up, paste it in. Now I'm going to delete these red bits here. And now you can type this out or screenshot in the ChatGPT like before. So we have create video prompts, we have our user instructions, and our description of the reference images. So for user instructions, we're going to come all the way back to the Telegram trigger yet again. Scroll all the way down once we've opened it up, and caption. That is our instructions from earlier. And description of the reference images is going to be, if we scroll up, that is going to be from our analyze image from earlier. So we'll drag that in there as well. There we go. That is our prompt completely done. Now what we're going to do is the system message. So I'm going to go grab that from my video agent here and open this up. Now feel free to screenshot again. We'll go through each section. There you are. Okay. Now let's copy that and bring that back into the video prompter from our original agent from earlier. Switch it to an expression, open it up, and paste that in there from ChatGPT. So, essentially what this is doing is it's giving us an output in JSON so that we can generate each video individually. Because right now it's just we're going through with one item throughout the whole workflow. So we need 3 videos. So I'll show you why we do that after this node. But it's going to give us an output in JSON so that we can manage each different prompt separately. We have scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. And then what's essentially happening here is we're describing the structure of each scene. And we're telling it, we want it to almost be like a story. So at the beginning, it's kind of like a hook. In the middle, it's describing the product. And then at the end, it says, buy it at the link. And each prompt is going to have dialogue. So there's actually going to be stuff being said. And then the camera, depending on what it is. So if it's like in the car, it should be like stable and making sure it seems realistic to a TikTok video. That's what that system message is actually doing. Now, because the output is in JSON, we need a specific output format. So we're going to enable that. Require specific output format, enable. We're going to come out, and as you can see here on the far right, we have output parser. So we're going to click plus. We're going to click structured output parser. And then we're going to click here and go define using JSON schema. So now we're going to be able to define it ourselves. And we're also going to click autofix format. We're going to enable that as well. Okay, so now we can click out of here for a second. And we're going to connect this to this model as well. So that will allow the LLM to kind of check everything over for us. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to use my JSON right here. So I'm going to open this up. Again, I know I say this like a million times, but copy it with ChatGPT. Once you have that, I'm going to go Control C. Come back here. I'm going to delete all that and Control V. There we go. Yep, that's all good. Okay. Now we're going to get the kind of output that we need. So we are actually good to go to execute this node now. So let's execute that. Okay, that's all done. So if we open this up, there we go. We have our 3 scenes. Now if we click on schema, you can see that they're all structured nicely into 3 different, essentially, objects that we can use individually instead of just one big block of text. What we need to do now is use another node. So we're going to click plus, and this one is called split out. We're going to click that. What this is going to do is, I'm just clicking out of that for 1 second right now. You can see it's one item. What we're going to do is we're going to open this up. Fields to split out, we're going to drag in this scenes right here. Drag that in, output.scenes, and then we're going to execute this step. Now you can see 3 items. So it's only showing us one of them. This is the first one, but there's 3 items coming through. Okay? It looks like okay, there we go. So there's 3 items coming through. So now when we add the next HTTP request, it's going to create 3 different videos. So that's why we're doing that. Okay? So I'm going to hit plus here. We're going to go HTTP request. And we're going to call this make video 1. There we go. Now for this, we're going to use a service called Key AI because it has the cheapest VO3 creation right now, as far as I know. So there's a link in the description to Key AI. Once you're on Key AI and you have made your account, the first thing you're going to want to do is add some credits. So if you go to billing, you can add some credits here, right? The cheapest you can do is $5 if you just want to test it out. Once you've added some credit, before, as you can see over here on API key, before we use our key, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the documentation. So you can find a link to this as well in the description. This is the documentation so that we can use the curl request like we did for File AI to kind of build it faster. So once you're on here on the left, click on Generate VO3 AI Video Fast and Quality. And then we have this over here, curl, and we can just click copy. Now we're going to come back into n8n in the HTTP request we had. Open that up, import curl, Control V, import. Now everything's all basically set up. So we're going to come back into the normal key AI now. And in API key on the left, once you've clicked create API key, you can copy your key here and then bring that into n8n. Where it says bearer token, delete all of that and then paste it in right there, Control V, where I just wrote paste. Make sure there's a space in between and you're authenticated, you are good to go. So I have that in a sort of hidden way right here where I just go generic. Make sure you leave that enabled and you are good to go. I'm just selecting a different way. Now we need to change the JSON so we can actually tell it dynamically what we want for the video. So I'm going to come back into my node here. I'm going to scroll down, open this up, and I am going to copy this. So don't copy this just yet. I'm going to bring this over first. Come back in, switch this to an expression in our make video node. I'm going to open this up, delete all that, and then paste this in. Now for the prompt, this should be green for you. If not, that's okay. We can drag it from the split out node from before. So we'll just drag this right in between the two double quotes. Now for the image URLs, we're going to actually delete this. So again, if you don't have this yet, screenshot ChatGPT. Image URLs right here, what we're going to do is we are going to come to get image. And right down here where it says URL, we're going to drag that in between those two double quotes. And now it's going to be able to access that image. So what this is telling it is use this image for the start of the video. Aspect ratio is 9:16 for the phone. Models VO3 fast because it's cheaper. And the prompt is the prompt from the video agent from before. Now what we can do is click plus right here, and that will generate those videos. There we go. Now I'm going to hit plus again. And we're going to search wait. And click wait. I'm going to call it wait 3 minutes. And I'm just going to put 180 seconds. Now you can do more, right? If you're getting a lot of errors, it might just be that the videos aren't being completed. So you can put more seconds in there. And this is just going to wait for all of the videos to be done. So I'm going to hit play on that. And if at any time there's an error, just remember that you have to make sure they're all executed all the way through to continue building, because then we're dragging over the information as we're building it from the past executed node. So now we can just wait for that. And if you come to Key AI, you can actually go to logs on the left. Make sure you click VO3 at the top. And then you can see here we've got them all running. So we're just waiting for those to be completed. Alrighty, so it looks like those videos are all complete now. If we just refresh this, as you can see there, all success. You can watch each one right there. I'm going to wait until we combine them all. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to get the video. We're going to have to add one more HTTP request. HTTP. I'm just going to call it get. And now we can come back to the Key AI documentation. On the left over here, get VO3 video details. And we can just copy this curl request right there. Copy. Come back into n8n, open this up, import curl, Control V, import. Same token right there, same API key. Right. I'm just going to set mine like this. And what we're actually going to have to do, I just double check this here. So we're going to need to turn on send query parameters. Okay. Send query parameters. We're going to call this task ID. It has to be a capital ID. Otherwise, it literally won't work. I know it's weird. Click here, expression. Then for the task ID, we can just grab that from the wait node. So we're going to grab that from right here, put it right there. And then now we can hit execute step. And we have the task ID and the finished video link right there for the items. So that is how you create the create videos node. So now let's move on to the combine videos and then to finally send the video back to us. All right. I'm just going to drag this up here. And we're going to bring this down. Keep things simple. So again, it's still 3 items. So in order to turn it back into 1 item, we're going to have to hit here. We're going to go aggregate. Then what we're going to do is for the input field, we're essentially just going to put the response URL because it's the final thing, the final link that we're using to combine in a second. So we're going to drag this in right here from result URLs 0, okay, because this is going to be different for each one. So result URLs 0. Drag that in right there. That is all good. And now we can hit execute step. And now we have 1 item and all of them nicely listed out just like that. Okay. Now we need to add another HTTP request. And what we're going to do now is we're going to combine all of those into 1 video using FAL AI with FFmpeg. So we're going to go HTTP request. I'm going to call this combine. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go to fal.ai. So we can come back to fal.ai. I'm going to go to home here. And I'm going to use this one called merge videos. So you can search it up here, merge, and then click on merge videos. And we're going to go to API. We're going to go submit a request. Again, making sure you're on HTTP. And we're going to copy from here, curl, all the way to the end, just before this blue bracket. I know it's weird, but that's just the way it has to be done. Here we go, Control C. There we go. And we'll come back into the combine node in n8n. Import curl, paste it in, and import. Now again, FAL AI, your FAL AI key, you can paste that right there to authenticate from the nodes earlier when we also used FAL AI. And once you paste it in there, you are good to go. So I'm going to use my other way. Now what we're going to do is we are going to be using JSON, okay? So as you can see here, I'm just going to copy this. So you can put this into ChatGPT right now. Just take a screenshot and it will give you this text, okay? Once you have that, we're going to come back into the node we're actually working on. I'm going to scroll down. And what we're going to do here, we're going to switch this to using JSON expression. Open that up. I'm going to go Control V. Now, the reason we're using it like this is because what this does is, as you can see on the right over here, there's a comma and then the next quotation. So this makes sure that all the links aren't like smushed together basically, and that they can be interpreted by it as separate files so that they're all used to be combined into one video. That's why we need this like .map URL bit at the end there, okay? So now we can actually hit plus to execute that. And then we need to add another node to wait for that to be done. So we'll add wait. I'm going to name it wait 25 and then add a 25-second timer. Again, you can make it longer. If you're seeing errors, you can always make the wait times longer if it's ever not working. So I'm going to hit execute on that and we'll just wait for that to be done. All right, so that's all finished. Now we just need to get the final HTTP request to receive our final video. So I'm going to hit here again, HTTP request. I'm going to call this end. And what we're going to do now is we're going to come back into Fal AI. Down here to get the result. Again, we're on the merge videos in the API. Just coming down here to get the result. And we're just going to hit copy for this. Come back, import, Control V, import. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to expression for the URL. And we're going to open this up. And the request ID right here, we're just going to delete that because we need the specific request ID for this video, which we can get from the last node right here. So we'll drag that in. And now we have the specific request ID on the URL. And then again, Fal AI, you can paste your key right there, the same as the past nodes. For the authentication, just make sure that you do that for it to work properly. There we go. Now all we have to do, execute that. And there is our final video link. Okay. Now we just need one more node, the Telegram node. So we're going to go Telegram so that we can actually have the video sent back to us by the bot. We're going to go Telegram. Scroll down, make sure my webcam's kind of covering it. But at the bottom, I can just move it. There is send a video right there. Okay. You're just going to want to click on send a video. Then make sure you connect your credential. Okay. The same one as before for your bot. Okay. Then for the chat ID, we actually have to come all the way back down to the beginning. Telegram trigger, open that up. Look for chat and then ID right here. That's the chat ID we need. We can drag that in there. And then for the video right here, we're going to scroll all the way back up to the end node that we just made. URL, the one that ends in .mp4 after video at the top. We're going to drag that in right there. And that should be all. So if we hit plus, execute that. Wow, would you look at that? We are done. So let's finally see our output.
Okay, so I just picked up these Takis Fuego, and you guys need to see this. Like, look at this packaging, the flames, the chili pepper. These are about to be so spicy and crunchy. So I'm definitely about to demolish this whole bag. You can click the link below to get some for yourself.
There you go. And again, you can run this infinitely. You can say, make her say this if you want her to speak in a specific way. And then you can take these, post it straight to TikTok from your phone, or hire people to do it for you, whatever you want to do. And that is how you make the workflow. A few final notes before you go. First of all, you need to activate the workflow up here by clicking this. That will make the workflow active. Then you need to make sure, so on Key AI, on, let's see, billing on the left over here. For one full video, it's 180 credits. Yeah, 180 credits. So if you run out of credits, the workflow isn't going to work anymore because you're going to be typing and the workflow is going to break because there's no credits to be used. So you'll need to add enough credits. And if it ever stops working, it's probably because there's no credits left. So that's one thing, right? The credits there, the credits on Fal AI, right? Credits on Fal AI, 4 cents per image. And then, you have the credits for Anthropic and OpenAI right there as well. And that is everything for that. One more note actually is on the Telegram trigger. We open this up. You can click add field and restrict to user IDs. Okay. I'm going to paste in this user ID right there. This will make sure that no one else can use your bot. Just in case, I don't know, sometimes I was having that issue a few times, and this just makes sure that only you can use your bot because it's only your user ID. So I'm just going to click this, and we can say hi. There we go. And now only our user can access the bot. And I mean, you could put this for other people too, if you wanted other people to use it, right? For example, an employee you hire to do this for you. So that is how you set up the workflow and make sure that you have all of your credits ready and filled in. That is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can also do it with a character and a product in the same image as well for the workflow. But that's everything for this video. My Telegram group is in the description, so you can stay up to date. I always keep you guys up to date and give quick reminders for when these videos come out, so you can be fast in there. And I will see you later. Thank you for watching.